Hello everyone and welcome back to CricAI, the channel which represents data, cricket and intelligence. So as promised, I am back with a new video of mine. So in my previous video, or rather I should say in my first video, I discussed about the importance of collecting data, the importance of data analytics, the importance of data science, how these two factors can influence the decision of any particular sport. And we also visualize the different types of dashboard where we analyze thoroughly about the two finalists of the IPL, that is Gujarat Titans and Royal Challengers Bengaluru. We also discuss the different aspects of the game, how the IPL was, what was the crucial factors deciding the game, and overall stats also we discussed. Now, in this new video of mine, I am going to discuss about the recent completed game of Indian cricket team, or rather I should say, the recent international game of Indian cricket team, which was played yesterday in Belfast, Ireland, which was India versus Ireland, the first T20 international game. Now, it is a talk of the town currently because India just lost to Ireland, and it is not just any warm-up game; it was a full international T20 game. And this was Ireland's first ever win over India in that T20, or rather I should say that in the whole international cricket history. Previously, in their 8 attempts, this is the first ever win over the reigning champions India, and it is the very first loss of the reigning champions after winning the title. Now, everyone is calling this a shock, but I am going to show you the data trail that was visible ball by ball, and also the decisions, the selections which were made weeks ago that make this result as put right back into the spotlight. Now let us deep dive section wise and step by step, like what were the crucial factors which decided the fate of this game. Now, as you can see the scorecard, Ireland scored 182 runs for the loss of 9 wickets, and which means that India need to chase 183 runs to win the game. But India could only manage to score 148 runs, and Ireland won by 34 runs. Now, if you can see the scorecard of Ireland, the Irish batsmen, the Harry Tector was the highest. Sorry, the Lauren Tucker was the highest run scoring for them, who scored 50 runs of 36 balls with a strike rate of 138.89. Now you must be thinking that this is not the strike rate of a current T20 batsman, or in this current era where everyone is striking at the rate about 160, 170. This is a very decent strike rate. But that's what the beauty of this game is. He assessed the condition really well, as the Irish batsmen or the Ireland team did not have a very much great start. They lost early wickets in the power play, but the Tucker, who is the captain, he assessed the conditions very well, and he ensured that he could stitch a partnership during the middle overs of the game, and he took the risk very much calculatedly. Then there is a player called Gareth Delaney, who also scored a handy 49 runs of 32 balls with a healthy strike rate of 153.12. And according to me, his runs were the only the match turning point for from their point of view, as it completely changed the momentum from Indian cricket team to Irish cricket. India bowled an extras of 9, which is pretty much decent. It's not an issue. Now, let's talk about the ground analysis, which is the Stormont Belfast. Let's talk about where this actually happened because conditions explains a lot over here. The Civil Service Cricket Club at Stormont is a small, unconventional international venue. It is not a regular touring ground for India, which means almost zero historical comfort or muscle memory for India's batter on this specific square. मतलब कि India were not very much pretty much friendly to this condition, and that was the main reason India decided to bowl first. Shreyas Iyer himself recognized this seam swing and bounce on offer for fast bowlers here, which is exactly why he chose to bowl first after winning the toss. Now, let's talk to the factor of toss. The toss decision was sound cricketing logic, but it also meant India's batter faced this unfamiliar condition chasing under pressure in the back half of the day. rather than in a calmer first inning batting condition. That timing detail matters more than most previews are giving it credit for. Like, what does this line mean? Like, what am I trying to say? The conditions drastically change in the second innings. In the first innings, where the weather was pretty much normal or pretty much, I would say, accurate to bat first, Shreyas had decided to bowl first just because of the factor that they were not very much friendly with the pitch conditions and they were not sure that how much score is enough on this ground. Now, let's come to the section three, which is the two debutants which won the match for Ireland. Now, do you know there were five key players which were missing from this Irish regular team. Yeah, this was a pretty much inexperienced Ireland team, and they were coming with a lot of newcomers in the debutants. Let us talk about the Matt Hollard, who is playing his first ever T20, who took three wickets, including Ishan Kishan, Captain Shreyas Iyer, and he also dismissed Harshit, Harshit Rana. Let's talk about the second debutant, which is Jai Moondra. He is an Indian born playing for Ireland, also on debut. He dismissed Sanju Samson with the very first ball he ever bowled in T20. So, in the current era of T20, experience does matter. But the current newcomer or the new freshers which are coming into the team, if they are coming with a proper planning and if they are coming with a confidence in them, then wonders can happen in the result. Now, the key point which is we taken note of, which is two players with zero international experience between them before this match combined to dismiss four of India's top six. That is not a pure luck, but it is a specific tactical pattern. And we are about to show you exactly what it was. बोलते हैं ना कि एक बार हुआ तो लक हो गया बट अगर चार बार हुआ तो उसको हम लक नहीं बोल सकते so that is what we are going to take and this is the exact gap which we are going to feel. Like not everything in the cricket is on the basis of luck. There are certain decisions, there are certain planning, certain strategies which ensures a smoothing of the result. Now let's talk about the five missing Irish players and how Ireland was still able to win this match. This is the major angle, and almost nobody is covering or nobody is even mentioning about. Ireland were about five seaming bowling options to injury, which is Joshua Little, Mark Adair, Curtis Canfor, Barry McCarthy, and Jordan Neal. These all five players were unavailable. Read that list again. These all five bowlers were a regular team members of the team. Now, this is the bulk of Ireland's first choice pace attack, and the team that replaced them, built around two debutants, still beat the reigning world champions. This makes the result even more remarkable than the scoreline just suggests. Now, even since the single most underrated fact about this entire match, I think that the most important and the most beautiful thing about the entire match was the two debutants who debuted for the airline. Now, let us go to the middle over strangle. India actually started with a flying colors. They started pretty much wine during the chase. They were 68 for 3 at the end of the power play, thanks to Abhishek's 50 with a lightning speed. But then Ireland gave up just two boundaries in the 27 ball straight after the power play. That discipline produced wickets, and India collapsed from 68 to 3 to 94 5, and then 100 for 6. This is the most important pattern in the match, and almost no recap frames in this way. India didn't lose to one bad over or one big collapse. They lost because Ireland completely strangled the middle overs nearly for 30 balls. Now, what am I trying to say? Like, in the first 6 overs where the field restrictions were there, due to the blazing off of Abhishek Sharma's, India started doing pretty much well in the power play. But the main turning point of the game, I should say, but was the middle over strangle where the Irish bowler didn't lose or didn't bowl a very much loose overs, and they continuously kept taking pressure, and due to that, eventually they get wickets. Now, in the cricketing term, it can be seen as a suffocation, not a collapse, because it's a repeatable tactic other teams will now study. The captaincy decision, according to me, which was front-loading the pace attack. Now, a specific tactical decision which I would like to discuss about is because this is where data tells the story, and most of you must be interested in that part. We all know that Shreyas Iyer was captaining his first match as a captain, and Harshit Dhanna and Harshdeep Singh through the entire power play, front-loading his two best power play bowlers early. That decision had a cost later. Now how? At the death, in the death overs, India had to turn to bowlers clearly having an off day. Washington Sundar conceded 19 runs in the 16th over, and Prasiddha Krishna conceded 27 runs in the 17th over alone, finishing 0 for 57 in his 4 overs quota. Now, the same bowler who returned 0 for 68 in his previous T20 3 years earlier, persisting with the bowler showing that exit pattern at the death in the tight chase. Is this a decision worth genuinely questioning? Like, don't you think like this tactical decision was a worth questioning? Not with the hindsight. I'm not talking this because in the hindsight, yeah, after the match, Prasiddha Krishna scored runs. But with the data, it was already available before the series began. Before this match, Prasiddha Krishna conceded 68 runs for 0 wickets in his previous T20 international match. So why could the Indian cricket team then just study the data that I know that sometimes data does not tell you the whole story, but completely ignoring it is also a not pretty much good way to move ahead. I think that Prasidh Krishna and Washington Sundar is a very unique scenario. Like I think that the management is trying to make them a three format player, but I think that's not pretty much working for them and not even for the team. Now, I would like to talk specifically about Washington Sundar. Washington Sundar is used as a spin option at the death rather than in the middle overs, where Ireland batters were still finding their footing. I think it is the most expensive over came at exactly the moment India could least afford it. The 16th over of the Washington Sundar was the over where Irish batter completely take the momentum away from the Indian cricket team. The bigger tactical question for the second T20, does India even have a death over spin option that's actually suited for that job right now? Or was Washington Sundar bowling there out of necessity rather than plan? What I'm trying to imply or what I'm trying to say is that do India have a good spinner and bowling Washington Sundar is a necessity or is it a plan? This is a big selection or big call of on his selection because he's playing at the number 5 or number 6 position where I think that their position is suited for someone like Hardik Pandya and if he is not available or someone like Nitish Kumar Reddy. But since these two both players are injured, but we do have one player in the squad whose name is Suyan Shegde. That specific position is meant for the player who can score a quick turnaround, like 24 of 10 or 30 of 15. But somehow Washington Sundar is not able to fulfill that position. Even in the Gujarat Titans, he's batting at number 4 or number 5. I think uh, he is a batsman who can bowl. Like currently what his skills are, clearly I would say that he is a batsman who can bowl. But is he the death over specialist batter India is looking for? It is a big question, and you guys can simply answer that in the comment box. Like, was his play justified in this team? And what about Suyan Shegde? Now we all know that. Now let's come to the Indian innings. We all know that Abhishek Sharma scored 49 runs of 20 balls. Then Samson would not get the start. He got out of 5 runs. Then we have Ishan Kishan, Shreyas Iyer. Now let's come to Tilak Verma. Now we all know that Tilak Verma is a vice captain of this Indian cricket team, and recently he also captained the India A in the Tri Series, which was played between India, Sri Lanka, and Afghanistan. Now, if any one of you would have watched that match, I would not rate his captaincy much very high because there was a one match between the India A and the Sri Lanka A where Tilak completely lost his cool and which eventually costed them a match. And even on his own batting performance, except that Asia Cup final, which he played an outstanding knock against Pakistan, there is not much a case study about him, like, and not about batting justifying his position. In the World Cup, we all must remember that in the World Cup, he was first playing at number three. But since he couldn't find a rhythm, the management played him at number six or number seven, where he scored some quick fire runs. So Tilak has batted from number three to number six in all the positions. But still Tilak Verma is not able to gel his position well enough and is still not able to found the rhythm in a match where team needs him the most. He scored 19 runs in 21 balls, the strike rate of 90.48. Strike rate is not an issue, but when I discuss about the middle over strangle, where Ireland completely strangled the middle overs, Tilak Verma was the main reason why the run rate was not able to keep going throughout the scorecard of the match. So Tilak Verma is also a curious case. Now, since he's a young player, we must back him. But this is not the first time that Tilak Verma has scored at this pace or this net run rate, or he has been found guilty of this inning. In the IPL also, we would you would have remembered that once he was called back in the midway, he was retired out, and there are many sample cases of him playing this kind of knocks. After that, Washington Sundar scored 12 of 9, which I discussed with you. Shivam Dube scored a good 2-3 knocks against the spin. But still, I would doubt Shivam Dube on playing the pace. His ability of playing pace is still relevant for the playing against pace. I know Shivam Dube played a very much knock in the World Cup final also, and throughout the World Cup he played well. But still, according to my analysis and still according to what I have been covering the game, he's still struggling about the good fast pace bowlers. Then Akshay Patel also scored 15 runs of 16 balls. Like Akshay Patel also, the batting performance of him is going down day by day. You can also see that in the IPL. Like he is struggling very much against the pace bowlers, and his batting attack and his is probably suitable for the Asian conditions. Next year's World Cup, which is the ODI World Cup, is in South Africa, so you also need a quick decision about Akshay Patel also. Then Ashit Rana scored 8 runs of 9 balls, and then Ardeep Singh and Prasidh Rana also scored 2 runs and 1 run, respectively. Now, let's talk about the bowling figures of the Irish cricket team. Matthew Humphries. I think he bowled an excellent over of 3.5 runs considering the 38 runs. But the two debutants, which was Matthew Hollard and Jai Moondra, these two combining 8 overs completely took the game away from Indian cricket team. Now, let's come to the next section, which is the Rajat Patidar angle. I think which is the most strongest angle of the today's topic because I think that this is an angle nobody is discussing the match and nobody is connecting. And it goes back to our very first video of this channel where I discussed the Rajat Patidar stats. Rajat Patidar led RCB back to back IPL titles, scoring 501 runs in the IPL in this year's IPL with a healthy strike rate of 192.69, which also includes a knock of that is against GT in qualifier 1. And specifically, his biggest impact came to the middle overs and death overs, not just the power play. Now, this is very much an important point I would like to discuss about. As I discussed earlier, India got strangled in the power play in the middle overs, not in the power play. That's where Rajat Patidar can really fill the gap. Patidar is even not selected in this Indian T20 squad at all. The selectors went with other middle order options. Now, please carefully listen to this. Now look at exactly where India's lost this match. First, the middle overs. Against disciplined bowling, with the middle over completely unable to rotate the strike or find boundaries. That is precisely the phase of the innings where Patidar's IPL 2026 numbers were strongest. जो रजत पाटीदार की स्ट्रेंथ है कि वो मिडिल ओवर्स में आके स्पिनर को या फिर पेसर को स्पेशली स्पिनर्स को जो वो अटैक करते हैं मिडिल ओवर्स में which reduces the pressure over other batsmen and it keeps taking the run rate and the strike rate. It is. I think it is pretty much important in the current T20. We are not saying his selection would have changed this result, or if Rajat Patidar could also have been failed. But that's impossible to know. But the specific skill gap that cost India this match lines up almost exactly with the specific skill Patidar was delivering at IPL level just weeks ago. And there is a connection that only becomes visible when you track a player's data across forms instead of treating IPL form and Indian selection as two separate stories. Currently, Rajat Patidar, after winning the IPL, played his MPL, which is Madhya Pradesh League local league. Over there also, he scored with a healthy amount of strike rate and an impactful innings in the middle overs. So I think this is a curious angle which nobody is talking about, and I think I am laying to you all guys. Like, should Rajat Patidar be included in the current Indian setup? Like, doesn't he deserve a spot in the middle overs? Like, why don't you take a player when he's in the form of his life? Now, the section which everyone is waiting about, the Sooryavanshi question. One more selection angle is that Weber Sooryavanshi did not play this match, left out on current form rather than the hype, as per the team management. Now, this is a genuine interesting question nobody is asking yet. Would Sooryavanshi explosive power play style have been helped against an attack that, as we just saw, thrives specifically on tight boundary, less pressure in the middle overs, and not the power play? That answer isn't obvious, and it's exactly what we will be tracking into the second T20I. Because since I think like he will be playing the second T20I because of the loss we get in the first match. And if you look at the size of this ground, this is not a conventional cricket ground. The cow corner of this ground, which is between the long on and the mid wicket, that part is pretty much deep. So that part of the boundary is very much large. So our bowlers didn't execute and did applied themselves pretty much well, especially Pachit Krishna. In his 17th over, he bowled two slot balls, bowling slower deliveries in the slot, and he get considered 12 runs in the two balls. So I think these all factors must be considered, and India must come back strongly in the next T20 match. Now the last part, what does this means going forward? India's middle order needs a specific plan for disciplined middle overs bowling, not just power play aggression in the death overs bowling option beyond the front line to need a serious look before the England series. We all know that this series is just I would say trial or rehearsal for the series starting against England on 1st July. So I think that the Harshit Rana and Asdeep bowling in the power play just couldn't save us from the winning the match. We also need a proper tight bowlers in the death overs. We must try Prince Yadav in this match instead of Prasiddh Krishna, and the management should ask tough questions to Washington Sundar like how is he justifying his place in this team. This single match doesn't give Shreyas as captaincy. This is first real test. Virat Kohli also lost his first T20 match. Shubman Gill also lost his first T20 match as a captain. So it doesn't mean that Shreyas Iyer is a good choice, and I think he will come back stronger. But I'm talking about Rajat Patidar because the data is now backing him a very specific way. The stories, his stats, I think it itself supports him a very much. So I would leave to you. You guys decide what the combination of the teams should be. Please comment. Please do share your thoughts about this match and give me a specific reply on this match. On the next video, I'll be talking about how Formula One racing predicts their the next tires, the next future, and how we can learn from Formula One analysts and how we can get implement their strategy in our cricket, and I will be also talking about the Women's World Cup, which is because they're having a big game tomorrow, which is India versus Australia. It is a must-winning game for India, so we'll also look about that in tomorrow's video. So please do like, do support, do shower your love. Subscribe to my channel for if you want to visualize the cricket in a different way. I think I covered all the aspects of the game. I covered where the game was lost, where the game was won. We covered each and every angle of the game. What were the factors, the team selection, the decision which led to the influence of this fate, and we also discuss about what could be the possible changes in the next playing 11. So keep watching, keep showing your love, and we will meet in the next video. Thank you. Thank you very much.